Yes, guys, what's going on? Make sure you head over to stretfordpaddock.bigcartel.com. Check out all the new merch. Remember, members get 10% off. Go and do it now. See you later.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the news. We've got some papers we're going to go through. Some Manchester United news, some news, of course, in the UK. There was the announcement last night. The lockdown is over or is ending in the next few months. We're going to go through and break down all that and what that means to Manchester United. And also, like I said, we've been linked with some centre-halves. We've got some news around that. We've also got some news around Dean Henderson. But let's start. The back pages of most things today and the front pages is all about lockdown being over and the roadmap out and how in the UK we are going to get back to some kind of normality. And you can see below, they are some of the dates that are affecting football fans. So to start with, we've got the 15th of May. That is still the date for the FA Cup final. Also, the Carabao Cup final is going to potentially have fans. They're going to test at Wembley around 10,000 fans in order to see how it goes. They've not really detailed out whether this is going to have testing on the door, whether you'll need a vaccination slip to get in, what you're going to need. But they are going to have fans potentially in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup finals. And hopefully the FA Cup final, Manchester United will be involved. The 17th of May is the next date that was outlined last night. And that is when they are expecting football fans to be allowed in stadium up to 10,000. That's 20, and only 25% of what Manchester United, of what fans can be in those grounds. So up to 10,000 fans in stadiums. Now, unluckily for Manchester United, our next game after that, the final Premier League game of the season, is versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it is away from home. So it's not looking likely that Manchester United will have fans at Old Trafford this season. It would be an absolute miracle if something happened and Manchester United were allowed fans. But then the final date there, the 21st of June, that is the date that everyone is expected, or the UK government is expecting to have no restrictions whatsoever, which may mean that fans will be back. And next season may be a normal season for fans joining in the Premier League, so going to games and be back to normal. They also potentially means that the Euros, we've got the 90,000 full house, could be the 22nd of June. England are playing the Czech Republic at Wembley, and 90,000 people could potentially be there, which seems a bit crazy that it'll just be that day, 90,000 people will be in after that. I'm not too sure whether that will work, but it is saying that 2nd of June, that there will be fans in Wembley for England versus the Czech Republic. And hopefully, like I said, next season, Old Trafford will be full again of fans throughout that. The next thing we have to talk about this morning on the other back page is obviously, this is the MEN. They are mentioning the allowing fans back in the stadium, supporters back for the final game. They're all talking about Man City with them potentially winning the league at home and stuff like that against Everton. But forget about that. Let's just ignore them. They don't exist. At the story at the top there, the Hendo is in sight is what the MEN are going for. Obviously not the best headline. But Dean Henderson. There is talk yesterday that Dean Henderson is looking likely, wants to leave. He doesn't want to be number 2 to David De Gea next year. He wants to be the number 1 goalkeeper for Manchester United or whatever club. There's some rumours going around about West Ham putting a bid for him, Chelsea potentially putting a bid for him, but our producer Cam, who is a Chelsea fan, says we don't need him. We've got Mendy. He is our number 1. But Dean Henderson not wanting to be number 2 this season and next season, and I can't blame him. I think he was expecting maybe some more game time this season. It hasn't got that way. Also mentioned in this article in the MEN, again, not the most reliable source, but mentions all about David De Gea's wage situation. Him being the number 1 paid player at Manchester United on £375,000 a week, and how there's some people at the club that are saying things like, do you know what, maybe we move him on, maybe it's not the right thing, maybe him being there is stopping them wanting to put Dean Henderson in goal, and him being the top paid player is something that is affecting the decision making behind Dean Henderson and all that kind of stuff. So this is the tough situation with David De Gea. Now, what you'd like to do maybe is ease him out of the role, have Dean Henderson come in, but can you have someone on £375,000 a week on the bench? No. The other option you've also got is trying to sell him. Who is going to spend £375,000 on a goalkeeper or try and match those wages? You're looking at Real Madrid. I don't think they've got the kind of money to be doing that at the moment. I think they've got other priorities. You're looking at Paris Saint-Germain, whether they'll go in for him. There aren't too many clubs in the world that are going to pay the same fees and same wages that David De Gea is on. And again, how are we going to move him on? It's not the transfer fee that's going to be the problem. This was the same thing with Alexis Sanchez. We were willing to let him go for free, but it is the wage situation. And what Manchester United will do in the next 12 months with goalkeepers it's going to be a very big story, because who knows what they're going to do with Dean Henderson, with David De Gea, who's going to be the number one, and who's going to pay David De Gea those wages of £375,000 a week? Is he going to be a number two on those wages, or are we going to move him on to another club? And is a Paris Saint-Germain or a Real Madrid going to fork out those wages on David De Gea? All to come in the next transfer window. If not, the transfer window's coming up. The next story today is around Ben Godfrey. Now, if you've not seen already, Rio Ferdinand's podcast, the Vibe with 5 podcast that comes out every single Monday. It had Rio Ferdinand, Cheeky Sport Joel, some lad called Howson. He does some stuff on here now and again. He was on there yesterday, and he was joined by Ben Godfrey and Mason Holgate after Everton's win against Liverpool this weekend, which was fun. Great to watch that. Anyway, Ben Godfrey, and talked about that Rio Ferdinand actually suggested that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United go out there and buy Ben Godfrey. He said yesterday in the podcast they could have had Ben when he was about 12 or 15 mil when he just went to Norwich. He'd been there about half a season or a season, but listen, there are so many players we could look at this and say they were missed at some point and they had to pay more. That's just life, that's part of it, and there are different judges. 99 people can judge a player and not like him, and one just says, bang, he's for me. Again, even if we'd have got him at the start of this season, 26 million or 25 million Everton paid for him going from Norwich into Everton, that would have been a very good signing. It's risky. That jump from Norwich to Everton is big, but at the same time, it's not massive. It's not massive and things like that. It's not something that you go, oh my God, it's a completely different pressure. Everton, obviously a much better team, but at the same time, Manchester United, that jump to Manchester United is going to be huge. So, if we'd have signed him, would he have had the same impact? Would he have settled as well? Would he have been able to handle the pressure of playing at Manchester United? I don't know. But at the same time, he obviously looks like a very, very good player. We're going to be linked with centre-halves, and I'm going to go on to some more this morning. But, we're going to be linked with centre-halves, and I think Godfrey will be in that mix of people that are going to be mentioned with Premier League experience, kind of fits the bill. He's obviously been tipped to go with England to maybe to the Euros, but at least in the next squad to potentially see if he can be playing. Ben Godfrey could be on the list of Manchester United transfer targets this summer. And speaking of transfer targets this summer, we have linked with Monaco. We spent last summer. Thank you very much, camera. Last summer, we put a £22 million bid for Benoit Badiashile in to Monaco. This was rejected, and Monaco said that, and Badiashile's been talking today, said it was the right choice. First off, as I've not enjoyed good seasons since I've been at Monaco. We played to stay up, and now I'm really experiencing the top of the table. And I think that continuing with the club that for me was the right decision, and this is being proved by the season that we are having. Badiashile obviously would have been a very good option, and it is looking likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is after another centre-half. We've talked about Badiashile, we've had Koundé being linked. There's going to be links to the Real Madrid centre-halves. There's been Varane, who's coming down to his last year of his contract, Sergio Ramos. We've also had Upamecano's been linked. Obviously, he's signed with Bayern Munich, so not coming over. Ben Godfrey, another one on the list now. Centre-half seems to be the number one priority for Manchester United this summer. And is Badiashile, even though we've had a bid rejected last summer, is he going to be top of the list today? Again, Hamza's there saying Jules Koundé we should sign. These are all very, very good options. And at the same time, it's looking like a centre-half. It's who we get for the right price, who fits the bill. We're obviously looking for someone that is, opposite to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's had very, very, very good performances this season, but you can see his faults. You can see his where he misses things, where he kind of, he lacks that physicality. He lacks that speed at the back. He lacks that. Steve's talking about that defensive instinct, and that's what Victor Lindelof misses, where just throwing himself in front of the ball. I think we have that with Eric Bailly, but he just can't stay fit. I think that they're the kind of players that we're looking at signing. Whether Badiashile fits that mold, a lot of people saying Koundé, Razmich, they're saying Pau Torres. There are many, many options for this coming in. Who knows where this is going to be? Milenkovic was linked yesterday. That was something looking like he's from Fiorentina again. Borussia Dortmund high on that list. It's looking like, I think that was a little bit of keyword bingo throwing in Manchester United. I think that Borussia Dortmund or Liverpool look likely to that. I think they're just throwing Manchester United in there. So make sure you guys are getting your comments in and we can have a look at. Ask some questions. Yes, get some questions into the comments this morning. We will go through them. I saw a comment before looking at you can't compare David De Gea to Alexis Sanchez. I'm not comparing David De Gea to Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, David De Gea has been a lot better for Manchester United. He has contributed so much, but he still skews the wage bill massively at Manchester United. He's still on £375,000 a week, and we want to get away with that. That doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve those wages, but what that means is you've then got to pay your second best player £300,000 a week. And you look at this, again, this is the whole thing with Barcelona at the minute, and this is the whole thing that's skewing their problem, is Messi worth 1.3 million a week? Probably. But what happens is you get someone like Antoine Griezmann that comes in and says, well, I'm worth at least half of that. So he's now on €700,000 a week. This is the problem. It's not about them being the player that's worth that. It's about how it fits the wage structure. And David De Gea on £375,000 a week. You then have Paul Pogba on £300,000 plus a week. It's one of those that you have them together and it skews everything. It skews everything. You then players coming in go, do you know what? I'm at least half the player David De Gea is, so I'm getting paid £200,000 a week. This is what happens. This is the issue. It's the skewing of the wage bill. That was the problem with Alexis Sanchez. It wasn't that we paid him all that money. It meant that Ander Herrera wanted £250,000 a week. That was the problem with it. It wasn't just us paying him. It was what that meant for all our other players. Comment there from 94J Ready. I'd happily swap Pogba for Varane so it frees up budget for a right winger, striker and a centre defensive midfielder. I've been going on about this for weeks. I think swap deals will be the way forward for a lot of clubs this summer. I'd love to see Varane in there. I think it fits the problems. It fixes our problems. He's on a year. I think it fits with the Pogba deal. Whether that happens, I'm not too sure. Would you swap West Ham? Maybe Jay Lings and Hendo for Rice. I don't want to get rid of Dean Henderson. I've talked about David De Gea. Maybe moving on in the next 12 to 18 months or so. I think that Dean Henderson is probably one of the better options to fill that gap. But at the same time, definitely Jesse Lingard is looking very good for them. United are going to want the 20-25 million, maybe a cash plus Jesse Lingard deal for Declan Rice. Wouldn't be the worst option. Souček, I'm not too sure about. I don't think he's what we want. I think Declan Rice does that holding role on his own. I think Souček is more of the mould of another number 8, someone in the same kind of position that Scott McTominay needs. Someone next to him, needs someone a little bit more disciplined next to him. So I'm not too sure about that. We've got Oliver Owens. I think Henderson is our best keeper, and De Gea is going to need to go at some point. Again, I'm not too sure about who's the best keeper or not. You've looked at the stats from Dean Henderson. He's played 12 games this season. He has had 7 clean sheets, but that means he's conceded 9 goals in the other 5 games he's played. 2 of them against Manchester City, 2 of them against Sheffield United, against his old club, and the 2 against Liverpool in the FA Cup as well. So at the same time, he's been a very good goalkeeper this season. He has made mistakes. It's one of those. Goalkeepers are so difficult to manage, especially you can't just rotate them in and out. You have to give them runs of games. What happens next season will be very, very interesting for me. I think this season, we were kind of expecting this. David De Gea being first choice still. Dean Henderson playing the odd game in the Premier League, but mainly playing the cup competitions. Next season, You've got David De Gea. Someone saying there, can David De Gea be a second choice goalkeeper? £375,000 a week for number 2. I think it's ridiculous. And I think you've also got, don't forget, you've got Sergio Romero there on 100 grand a week as well. We're spending about 600 grand on keepers at the minute. It's absolute madness. You can't have all these players on this amount of money, especially in a position where you can only play one a game. What else have we got? You could get a Rice equivalent from another league for half the money. We've got to find him though, and this is the problem with Manchester United, is that we are, horrendous abuse on the back of those bad performances, which is ridiculous and shouldn't be condoned. But at the same time, you don't know how that's affecting him. And I think that this is the worry for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is he needs to manage Axel Tuanzebe well. Whether he'll potentially go in there and play next season, I'm not too sure. Whether Ole thinks that he can trust an Axel Tuanzebe alongside Harry Maguire as a first choice, he hasn't seemed to have done it so far. Whether that's he needs a pre-season behind him, whether we'd get a pre-season this summer, I don't know. These are all the questions we need to ask. Is it Axel and Bailly that can potentially push for that spot alongside Harry Maguire? But to me, I think that if we want to win trophies next season, if we want to be challenged for the Premier League next season, I think we'll need to sign a more established and a better centre-half than both of those two. Camavinga over Rice, I just don't think it's going to be the same amount. I think that we're going to still spend a lot of money on that. Also, not really proven in the Premier League. I think the reason that Rice is the more attractive option is that he has played in the Premier League, and I do think there is a very, very, very big thing for that. We should learn the lesson of overspending on English players like we did with Maguire. We're going to overspend on any player that we look for. It's going to be very rare that we sign someone for under what Manchester United should be paying for it. Let's have a look. I think Tuanzebe could be first choice. People are saying that Mbappe is the best in the world and Axel pocketed him. It's one game though. It's only one game. You need to do it consistently. Eric Bailly has been fantastic for 5 games this season. But you need to be able to do it for 20, 30 games in a season. That's where people underestimate how good Harry Maguire is. He plays 50 games a season, Harry Maguire, and has 45 very, very good ones. That's what you want out of your centre-halves, and that's what you want out of your footballers. You need consistency. That's how you win titles. If only one signing this summer, should it be a centre-back or right winger? Well, to be honest, we look thinner up front. We've not really got too many options, especially when you consider how much Cavani may be playing next season. Martial haven't scored in the goals this season, and we haven't scored. Our strikers haven't really been in form this season. Rashford's only got 9 goals in the league, got 18 in all competitions, but only 9 in the league. So it looks like we're a bit thinner up front, but we're still the top scorers in the Premier League. For me, I think a centre-half kind of lifts us a little bit more, and I think that a centre-back should be our option for this summer. I'd love to see Jadon Sancho still, but I'd also love to see midfield. I think that we still need 4. We need 4 very, very good players in, and I don't think that happens in one summer. I think we need a centre-back. I think we need another midfielder. I think we need a striker. I think we need a right winger still. I don't think that happens in one summer. I think that we can get 2 of those, but it's one of those. Who are those 2 going to be? What's the kind of money going to be available? Again, what's going to happen with Paul Pogba? Who knows? How can we be top scorers and Martial scored 4? It's ridiculous. I mean, the 9 helped. The 9 against Sheffield United helped. But we've had goals from all over the place. We've also got Bruno Fernandes, who's one of the top scorers in the Premier League from midfield, which is ridiculous. Right, guys, that is going to be all from me today. Make sure you've given this video a like. Make sure you subscribe into Stretford Paddock for loads of good stuff. We'll have all the build-up for the Real Sociedad game. And if you're not already, follow us on TikTok. That's me and Cam's job for the rest of the day. We're going to get loads of TikTok content done for us. So make sure you follow us on TikTok. It's Stretford Paddock without the O in the paddock. So make sure you head over to TikTok. The link for that is in the description below. Like I said, I've been Alex. We'll have all the coverage and all the build-up to Real Sociedad game coming up very shortly. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're liking the video. And I'll see you next time.